श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानाय स्वाहा। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। साईराम लेन।
Sairam Sharma. Thank you, Bhagwan, for giving Sharma and I yet another opportunity to talk about your glory. Tonight's topic is how much money in the bank. During one interview, this was October 1995, Swami called our group for interview, and we had a lady in our group who was working as a bank teller for the Bank of New Zealand. Swami indicated that she come and sit next to him, and she had a ring with a blue stone. Swami asked her to take the ring off, and he held it in his hand for the next several moments while he spoke to her. He said to her, "How much money in the bank?" This question caught her off guard, and she said, "Swami, do you mean the money in my personal bank account, or do you mean the money in the Bank of New Zealand?" And Swami said, "Your personal account." And she was a bit flustered, and she whispered to Swami how much money was in her personal bank account. Then Swami began to speak about spiritual bank account. Swami said, spiritual bank account is there. Every day you have thoughts, words, and deeds. These should be positive and bring only happiness and joy to others. No need for negative thinking. Negative, negative, negative. He often would do this. He would repeat a word 3 times. And that said to me, he is speaking of the spiritual realm, the mental realm, and the physical realm, which cover all the things we do with our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. These thoughts, words, and deeds, Swami explained, go towards forming our causal body. This is the body we will get in our next incarnation. So our thoughts, words, and deeds should be pure. Swami only looks at the heart. He does not, what we do with the physical body, he once said, is not so important in the long run, in the bigger picture. Because I've had people say to me, "Oh, so-and-so has such a bad habit, this is not good." And I say, but look at their thoughts, words, and deeds. Well, we can't look at their thoughts, but we can look at words and deeds. It is like the acronym Swami gave for watch. Watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, and watch your heart. Later, when I was working at Radio Sai and Isharama Trust, I was able to source more information of what Swami said about the spiritual bank account. One more thing, in that interview with the lady who worked for the bank, Swami blessed her and gave the ring back to her, and then shortly after she returned back home, she received a promotion at the Bank of New Zealand. She was lifted from being an ordinary teller into quite a senior position, and from then and there on, her life became much richer and much more exciting, I might add. She became a champion ballroom dancer and moved to Australia, and she is still there and winning many competitions, doing beautiful ballroom dancing. I have to smile when I think of this, how Swami changed her life. This is what he did in interviews. I noticed whenever he spoke so sweetly and lovingly to people, he not only took care of what their problem was at the moment, but their whole life changed after that for the better. The spiritual bank account is something that we add to or subtract to every day. Just as we have a physical bank account in which we save money or withdraw money, we also have an accumulation of our devotion, our good thoughts, words, and deeds, which form an unseen bank account in another dimension. Swami explained to us that this spiritual bank account really comes into play after we leave the body. And this is something that we should all ponder, because we don't really know what it's going to be like when we leave our body and go into the next dimension. We may have some ideas. Some channels on YouTube talk about near-death experiences where people leave their body and have some experience where they meet with their spiritual guides who go through their life, the book of their life, what they did that was good, what they did which was maybe not so good. They are not judged per se, but the person has to look at what they have done in that lifetime and review it. Swami explained something that was so life-changing for me. He said that when you feed someone with love, when you cook for them or prepare food for them, not charging them money, simply feeding them with love, this accumulates in your spiritual bank account. And when you leave the body, you need strength to go on the journey. Swami says it takes 1 year for the soul to enter a body, and it takes 1 year for the soul to journey after it leaves the body to its final destination. Anyone that you feed with love, this accumulates in your spiritual bank account as the strength that you need to make that journey after you pass from the physical body. This was an eye-opener for me, as Swami always, as we know, encouraged Narayana Seva, and he would say, you are not doing this for the person you are feeding it, you are doing it to save yourself. And I never understood that until I came across this teaching about the spiritual bank account and how it helps one on their journey after they leave the physical body. Swami also said, and this was when I was at Ishwarama Trust, where we received a great deal of information from Swami on life and death. As some of you may know, we had a project at Ishwarama called Mother and Child, where Ishwarama sent medical camps out to all the villages surrounding Puttaparthi. And I think the final total was 157 villages, and it was serving pregnant mothers to be and their newly born children. When the project began, there was an 80% mortality rate with the babies in the villages around Andhra Pradesh, and there was a severe shortage of people growing up and being able to work in the fields. As you know, it's a very agricultural area around Puttaparthi. And many of the babies were dying because the mothers did not have enough nourishment, or some of the birth practices were not hygienic enough. Swami gave a recipe for a certain type of porridge made from all the grains in the area. This was a porridge that came in dried blocks or bricks that hot water could be added to, and the mother could have this porridge and it would give her all the nutrients. I can remember seeing this porridge being for sale in the ashram ashram supermarket as well. And pretty soon there were medical checks every month for the mothers, and vitamins were given as well, and the mothers were encouraged to have their babies in Swami's General Hospital. And over the period of 5 years, the mortality rate dropped and dropped until there were so many wonderfully healthy babies being born. Swami explained that it takes 1 year for the soul to enter the body. For the first 3 months, the soul hovers around the father, he said. Then during the 4th month, the soul enters the womb of the mother, He said, it is the nature of the soul to flit, F-L-I-T, flit, which is to fly. And for the next several months, the soul can fly between the mother and the father. Finally, it settles into the womb and birth takes place. All of these revelations were extraordinary to us at Ishwarama, but Swami pulled no punches. He made sure that we understood what happens with life and death and the importance of good nourishment, and also the importance of improving your spiritual bank account by feeding people with love. This is very, very important. There is nothing more nourishing and giving than you can do to feed someone with love. We think of our mothers. Our mothers fed us from the very beginning with their own milk, and then later fed us whenever we cried out for food. If we had a good mother, she was always there to make sure that we were being fed. Swami also explained to us that there were 4 kinds of children, and this also has to do with the topic of the spiritual bank account. He explained that the first kind of child was a child who had a debt to the parents. That soul had a debt to the parents that he or she is being born to, and that child will often stay with the family for the rest of his life or be very close to those parents. He will take care of the parents even after he's grown. He will visit them often or even live with them until that spiritual debt is paid. Second kind of child is a child whose parents owe a debt to that soul. The parents are responsible for feeding the child, clothing them, educating them, taking care of them, seeing they get medical attention. When the debt is paid, and of course we cannot know what the debt is, we only, as Swami said, we all come into the world with an unseen garland of karma, and at any rate, when this child has fully been looked after, the child, and the debt is paid, the child may leave home. In fact, the child may not even see the parents again after that. Or he may visit sporadically, but may even move to another country. Third kind of child is a gift from God. Swami said, devout parents pray, and a child is given. This sometimes happens with parents who apparently cannot conceive a child, but miraculously a child is conceived and born to them. Fourth kind of child is a divine child, an avatar, and that, of course, is the will of Lord Vishnu to descend as an avatar, and as we know, Swami is the 10th appearance of a divine incarnation of Lord Vishnu on this earth, and another is to come, that will be Prema Sai. I can give one wonderful example of how Swami took care of a couple who had a child. They had a boy child, and then they were destined to have 2 boys. But the lady of the house secretly wanted a girl. And this couple are dear friends of mine. They related this story. That is how I know how it came to be. The mother, they had the 1 boy, and then the mother became pregnant again, and they happened to be in the ashram in the early stages of her pregnancy. Swami called them in for interview, and he asked about the child to come. She had already had the scan, and they knew that the child was a boy. But Swami knew that the wife had a secret desire for a girl. And so Swami told them to come back the next day for another interview. He did not give the reason, but he did again call the couple. He called them in with their little boy, and he said, it took me all this time to look around for a girl soul. You will now be having a girl. And so this is true. The woman gave birth to a girl child, even though her original scan had shown it was a boy. So see how Swami can change the game. And now that girl is grown up. She's the most beautiful girl. I see the family often, and they love telling me this story. And so, you see, Swami can change the game with our spiritual bank account. He can even change a boy to a girl to a boy when they are in utero. I hope you have enjoyed this little talk about our spiritual bank accounts. They exist, and only by doing good, seeing good, and being good can we improve daily on our spiritual bank account. We want it to be overflowing. We want it to be in very good shape for when we leave our body, because we will need all that strength to make our journey of 1 year to our final destination, which can only be a glorious destination with the help of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Lin, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.